Hello, I'm Liam,
And I'm Curtis.
and these are some of the invasive plant species found in the upland habitats of South Florida. Getting started, we're just going to say what are upland habitats. Upland habitats are defined as land above the mean high water line, meaning they're habitats that are not impacted by water, such as wetlands or coastal habitats. Some of these habitats in South Florida include scrub habitats, pine flatwood habitats, hardwood hammock habitats, and prairies. Many of these habitats are endangered due to them being considered the best areas for human development, and as human development increases in Florida, these are the habitats that are first to go, resulting in a majority of these habitats disappearing.
The air potato was introduced in 1905 as an ornamental plant and a possible food crop. This plant is notorious for taking over ground cover and choking out native plants. It is easily identifiable by its heart-shaped leaf with veins coming out from the stem.
This plant is the balsam apple. The balsam apple is a tropical vine identified by leaves with 5 protrusions, yellow flowers, and bright red fruits when ripe. Originally from South Africa, it escaped cultivation in Florida as it allegedly has medicinal value. It spreads extremely quickly in almost all upland environments and outcompetes native plants as it creates dense thickets. This plant can be removed as long as the balsam apple's taproot is cut just below ground level.
Seizure weed was introduced in Florida around 1800 when it escaped cultivation. It was brought into the Caribbean by European voyagers for medicinal purposes. This vine can grow anywhere from 2 to 7 feet in its first year, making it very deadly to native species as it will take up most ground cover. It has bristled seeds that can easily attach to just about anything, including bird feathers, animal fur, and clothing. It is pretty much impossible to move without pesticides, but if you cut off any of the seed heads and bag them up and dispose of them, it will work. It can be recognized by the dark green leaves with 3 distinct points and a small pink flower when in bloom.
This plant is the Mexican clover. The Mexican clover is a plant that can be identified by stiff red stems, hairy branches, and bright white flowers. Actually native to South America, not Mexico, the Mexican clover is sometimes referred to as white snow due to the bright white flowers popping up in locations having a similar appearance to snow covering the ground. This plant is considered a Category 2 invasive, meaning it has not done harm to the environment yet, but has the possibility to do so due to its invasive nature. In order to remove this plant, you would have to ensure that the taproot is also removed completely.
The African tulip tree was introduced as an ornamental plant. It provides a thick canopy that can shade out most of the ground cover. The profuse fruiting leads to a large amount of seeds being produced, which leads to the spread of the tree. It can be identified by its bright red trumpet-shaped flowers and glossy leaves. It exhibits suckering, meaning it can regenerate from just a bud or root even if it's cut. It is very hard to remove once it is planted.
This plant is the rosary pea. The rosary pea can be identified by violet pea-like flowers, bright red seeds, and small leaves that are opposite of one another. Similar to other invasives, they were also introduced to Florida from areas in tropical Asia as an ornamental plant. The seeds of this plant are extremely dangerous, with even just a single seed having the ability to be fatal to a person if consumed. To remove this plant, you'd have to ensure that the deep taproot is removed completely. This plant is the Brazilian pepper. The Brazilian pepper is identified by its 1 to 2 inch long elliptic leaves and bright red fruits when ripe. It was introduced from Mexico, not Brazil, due to its ornamental appearance and has since become one of the most aggressive invasive plants in South Florida, infesting over 700,000 acres. The Brazilian pepper has the ability to invade both terrestrial and aquatic areas and is also thought to have allelopathic tendencies, allowing them to invade many places and keep native plants away. Some possible ways to remove this plant would be to pull young individuals by hand, as once they are settled, there is almost no way to remove them.
These are some of the invasive plant species found in the upland habitats of South Florida. Thank you for watching.